And it looks like we're live. All right, and it looks like for some reason, hang on here. There we go. So, hey everybody, this is Roberto Blake helping you create something awesome today. Welcome to another TubeBuddy live stream. Today we're going to be talking about how to come up with content ideas for your YouTube channel. This is a really exciting topic. I know a lot of people struggle with how to come up with ideas for their YouTube channel. Sometimes people feel that they've run out of good ideas when it comes to creating content. So we're going to talk about how to come up with a general content strategy, a content calendar, and a little bit of an outline for your channel. And this is actually really important because I actually recently became YouTube certified in content strategy, and there was a lot that YouTube has to say about the value of content strategy and why it's important for your channel and why you need to also consider the diversity of your content. So we're going to jump into that. We're definitely going to do Q&A and answer a bunch of your questions, but I also want to give you guys some of the, let's say, baseline of what you should be thinking about when it comes to a content strategy. That way we're all on the same page and it might answer the majority of your questions in advance. So let's go ahead and jump into that. So one of the things you have to understand is that there are different types of content on YouTube. There are, specifically from YouTube's perspective, 3 types of content: hub content, help content, and hero content. Let's start with help content because it's the easiest to explain. Help content is search-friendly content like how to come up with YouTube content strategies, how to grow your YouTube channel, how to tie a tie, how to start an online business, how to, how to throw a football. Whatever you want in terms of a how-to or what is video, that's what we would consider to be help content. Help content is search-friendly content and prioritizes that. Hub content is content that's for your regular audience and might be more personable per se, or it might be something that they're a little bit more engagement-based types of content. These would be things like vlogs, for example, or story time videos, or you could even consider haul videos to be this in nature, right? And then you have hero content. Hero content is, I would say, inspirational in nature. Help content is educational. Hub content is entertaining and entertainment based, right? Has that emotional value to it. Hero content is either inspirational or it's viral in potential and in nature. So it usually is something that could be a piece of hero content that might be something that you're doing as a collaboration with a brand. And so that would probably take the form of a really cool skit or commercial that has a product integration based in it or something of that nature. Or it could be a piece of content that you're doing something ridiculously exciting, like jumping out of an airplane in 360 or going to an exotic location. Those are the type of things that might be hero content. Hero content, another example, would be a highly produced animated project or a produced short film that you did that had really great production values and a lot of massive editing and all of those things behind it. So that would represent hero content. In context, you could build your channel and it should have a ratio of hub, help, and hero content. Primary example is if your hero content is going to be the end result of a short film or a movie that you made, then a lot of your help search-friendly content could be all the things that it takes to make a movie and make a movie like this in terms of what camera gear to buy, how to do cinematography, how to do video editing, etc. Hub content would represent things like the behind the scenes of those videos that were made, because then that's valuable to that specific audience, right? Help content is how new people find you. It's how anybody can find you in YouTube. So many of you, you're trying to do hub and hero content when nobody knows who you are, and so you might not be relevant and it may not matter to them because you're not giving them any specific value or context. So you need help content, search-friendly things that might be general enough for people to discover you. That's where help content comes in. Once people have discovered you, hub content keeps people coming back. And as for hero content helps you break out and grow bigger or faster, or makes you quote unquote mainstream relevant. Even if someone is not looking for a specific thing, this is the type of thing that gets shared or picked up by media or press, or that everybody will start sharing in their social media. So hero content is more likely to be shared. Hub content is people who are coming back. Help content is how you get found and discovered and everything like that. So again, help content is educational in nature. Hub content usually is educational, and then hero content is inspirational, or just really, I would say, exciting content. So now you have an understanding of how YouTube thinks about the three main types of content and why every channel needs to do all three of these. Most of my content has been educational in nature. Most of the content here on the TubeBuddy channel has been educational in nature. That is, in many cases, sometimes the easiest content to make because you can talk about what you know. And it can still be entertaining. Some videos can be all three of these things. If you have a Star Wars YouTube channel, you could be talking about Star Wars and be both educational and entertaining for people who might be existing fans or new fans of the franchise. So there's an aspect to that. You could also be doing hero content in Star Wars because you could do a Star Wars fan film, or you could do something with lightsaber effects, or you could do something that is a reaction or a response to a new trailer that releases, and that could technically be hero content. So I think that if you understand that and you can put that into context, then that goes a long way. Let me address one of the mainstays of YouTube. I'll address this in the context of, let me tell you how a gaming channel, one of my not necessarily the most favorite genres of mine because everybody just does the same thing over and over again, but fine, gaming. There are a lot of people who want to be YouTube gamers. I have nothing against that. I just wish everybody would stop cloning each other. That being said, help content in a gaming channel would represent walkthroughs, tutorials, and strategy guides. You could literally buy a strategy guide off the shelf and then make videos based on the tactics in the strategy guide, and your channel would do well. That literally would work. But then hub content would be doing maybe something like videos where you do character breakdowns or character analysis, or analysis of the plot of a game, or a fictional hype video around, like, you know, two characters and what if it went differently, or a theory might work. So that would be hub-based content. Hero-based content for a channel like that would be simulating the games in real life, or doing something that might be controversial regarding the game, could technically be hero content and could get picked up by publications or be exciting for people. So again, that excitement factor really defines hero content. So a lot of channels have done things like this very well, and you can do it in any genre. If you were going to do it in beauty, then a piece of hero content would be one of the beauty challenge videos that might also be very trendy. That would be a piece of hero content. An obvious help content would be a hair or makeup tutorial, and then a piece of hub content would be a vlog about maybe your struggles with appearance or confidence or inner beauty or something related to that. Again, something emotional value there. So regardless of what your genre or your niche is in YouTube, balancing the three types of content properly for your niche, hub, help, and hero, is extraordinarily important. And so I wanted to make sure that we cover that first before I take any of your questions, so that we understand like some basic things with content strategy. Since we talked about niche and genre, you also need to figure that out for your content strategy, because making content is fine if you want to make content for yourself, but most of you, if you're watching this video right now, if you're watching this channel, if you're watched my channel, or Nick Nimmons, or Daryl Eves, or Tim Schmoyers, or any of the other YouTube instructors, then your goal probably is to grow your channel and to have an audience so that you can feel like you have a voice. So guess what? That means that you have to make content for which there is a demand. Because if you're only making content for yourself, then your audience is an audience of one. And I need to clean these so I can see your questions. So if you're making audience content, based content, you have to have a strategy for that. What's in demand? And so one of the things you can use to find out what's in demand is to look at what's trending in Twitter, or if you want to look at the trending page in YouTube and then look at that, and in the context of your genre, you can see what people might care about. Excuse me. You can see about what people. It's like, do you guys love how I like turn that sneeze into a dab? But like, you can turn that trending topic into saying, okay, this is what people are paying attention to right now. And TubeBuddy has a video topic planner for trending topics too that you can take a look at. Thank you for bringing that up, Andrew. So you can look at all those things and say, okay, this has attention right now. So if this has attention right now and I make a video about it, this might do better than my normal videos, or it might reach a new group of people. And so if you want to grow your channel, that might be important to you. But there's also ways that you can take a look and say, in general, that there will always be people who want to know this. So what should I do? Someone just asked how to get 10K views faster. What's your channel about? What are people going to watch in your genre? What type of people watch your content? If you haven't specifically identified your audience, if you don't know, is my audience younger? Is it like older? Or is it mostly male or female? Do they have other specific interests? Then there's no point in trying to like, oh, what'll get me to 10K if you don't even know that. And if you don't have a specific thing that your channel is about, it's almost impossible to grow because nobody knows. In the case of the person who's asking, because unfortunately I don't want to butcher your name, I can't pronounce it, but you say you have an Islamic channel. Great. Easy content strategy. Go ahead and think about the 10 things that people misunderstand about Islam and make a video about that. And then also make an individual video about those 10 things, because that's going to be search-friendly content. For everybody here who wants to get 10K views, make search-friendly content and make content every now and again that might be a trending topic in YouTube or something that might be trending in current media culture if it's relevant to the type of channel that you have and to your audience. If it is relevant to the type of channel you have and to your audience. And what I will say about this is, again, there are a lot of people who are going to ask about this, but it is not, and I don't say this dismissively, it's not rocket science. And I say that not to be dismissive, I say that to make it less intimidating for you, as this is not complicated and this is not hard. And I know that a lot of people will say, but you already have subscribers, so that's easy for you to say. 4 years ago, none of you knew who I was, and I've helped other channels do this. And I also work with clients that are trying to do this that have a small audience or none at all. And I have other channels you may not know about that have nothing to do with YouTube and YouTube growth that I am working on as well. So I know exactly what being a small YouTuber looks like. And I deal with that every day still. And I start over in other platforms. So that's, you know, when I say that it's not the hardest thing in the world to do, I mean that straightforward. I mean that it is a very straightforward thing to do, because if you think like a viewer, and what would I watch? If you're the type of person who's making a channel that's about people like you, think about what you would watch. Look at the top 10 channels that you watch on a regular basis, and then break down why do you watch those channels. And that's pretty straightforward. How do I find trending topic to reach my audience? What are you paying attention to right now? If you are the same as your audience, and then you could go to communities and things and hashtags that fit your audience. Again, this is not complicated. Think about this. For whatever genre you're in, you want to know what's trending? Go look up Instagram hashtags. Go look up Twitter hashtags and see what people are talking about in real time. And you will figure out what is trending in your community. Go to Facebook groups and see what Facebook groups in your genre are talking about, and you will know what people want to watch. So that's really your straightforward answer when it comes to, I don't know what content to make, I don't know what to talk about, I don't know what people care about, nobody's going to watch. Well, if you make things that people are actually talking about in real time, then you will get an audience around that specific thing. And that's important. However, if you just make content that's trendy all the time, you can't sustain viewership, you can't get people to come back, and that's why you need to balance that with having a consistent theme for your channel. So if you're going to talk about content strategy, it's not just individual videos, it's about having a theme for your channel, and so all of you probably need to write this one down. You need to write down what we said as far as hub, help, and hero content, and then you need to think about what you could make regularly, easily enough, that fits under help videos, and what helps under hub videos, and what would be your hero content. So you have to decide also, above all of that, what is my channel about? Who is going to watch this channel? And that's your answer. And once you do that, you can say, okay, great. Now I have 3 categories of videos: hub, help, and hero. Hub is, okay, if I have people watching, what brings them back? Hero, how do people find me? Sorry, help, how do people find me in the first place? What do they care about? Then hub is, okay, I keep them because they care about things like that. And then hero is, what would get the attention of mass media, publications, what would potentially go viral, what is something trending that I can tap into? You find that. So that's how you balance this. But you need something to make your channel about. Is your channel, and if it's gaming, well, what type of gaming channel is it? Is it that you're a pro gamer? Are you in the genre of first-person shooters? Are you a Minecrafter? There's then the sub-genres and niches of what your channel is. Are you a DIY channel? Is your DIY channel customization or hacks? Or is it more creativity and art? Or is it DIY, is it crafting? Or is it DIY and is it like rigging stuff? Is it more tech in nature? You have to figure that out. Then you have to decide, what can I do that is search-friendly, that will last forever, and that will matter. So again, you should be writing this down and thinking about this in real time about what your channel is. Then you think about, okay, great. Now, out of people who might be watching, what resonated the most with them, and what would they care about? What else do they care about? If they were searching for this, what else day to day would matter, and what's a message that resonates with these people and connects with them on a deeper level? And that could be your hub content. And then in terms of hero content, go look at big publications and look at what they write about in your niche or in your genre. What has attention right now? What has mainstream attention around it? What are people excited about? What is trending? And so you write down ideas for that. And then this is how you build out an idea bank for your content, aka a content bank. If you ever heard the phrase content bank or idea bank, it is a collection of ideas for videos that you want to make. So that's how you would do that. And that's why the 3 categories matter, but you have to put them in the context of what's your overall channel about. If your channel was about music, you could do reviews of albums, and that would probably be very good as far as search-friendly content that you could do, because somebody's going to buy that album, whether it's tomorrow or a year from now, and they might want to hear a review on it. So you could do that, and that will be search-friendly. When the new charts come out, you could do a response. If something broke through the charts, you could do a response video based on that. Or if something happens in the music industry with a celebrity, you could do a video reaction about that and about the news. And that might be a combination of not only hub content, but it could be hero too, and people might search for that. So it can be all 3 of those sometimes. That's just a very specific example. In terms of hub content, once you have an audience, you could do something that's your top 10s in R&B if you're a music reviewer. You could do your top 10s in rock. You could do your top 10s in soul. You could do your top 10s in pop. And then that top 10 list around the thing that you're already doing would be good as far as hub content. So again, these are things you could do. These are relevant examples. So when we talk about how to come up with content ideas, this is part of how you do it. So let's go ahead and take a few of your questions around this, and let's see where that takes us going forward. So if you guys have questions, go ahead and throw them into the chat. And I'm going to read this because this is a good example that Andrew Kahn brought up. Example, Roberto could do content on the recent issues with Jimmy Kimmel and the Adpocalypse and Casey Neistat. Yep, I could. I'm not sure if I want to touch that with a 10-foot pole right now, but I could, and that would probably do very well for me. So, you know, that's the answer. Let's see. On the matter of DIY channels, how do you compete with bigger, older, well-established channels? There are so many things that you can craft. It doesn't matter how big a channel is. It just doesn't. Yes, they have somewhat of an advantage. That doesn't mean you can't get some viewers. Every single channel starts with 0. There are channels that are growing right now that are new channels that are getting views, and 5 years from now, they will be a big channel too if they keep up with it. So my question would be, why are you worried about bigger channels, or what specifically is it that's going on with your channel that makes you think that a bigger channel is taking away from you? Because everyone makes a choice about what channels they watch, and not everyone wants to watch a big channel because not everyone has the budget to do a project that the big channels are doing. The big channels do extravagant projects a lot of the times, and not everyone can afford that. So, like, let me ask you, what is it you like about those channels, and were you watching them before they were big? Because everybody who complains about what big channels are doing and there's no shot for small channels, it's like, for those channels to get big in the first place because they all started at 0, then what made you watch them when they were small? And did you watch them when they were small? And are you watching them because they're a big channel, or are you watching them because of the content? Because if all of you are going to tell me that the only reason you watch channels is because they have hundreds of thousands or millions of subscribers, then everybody should just quit YouTube who doesn't have that, because then there's no point, right? And I don't believe that. 4 years ago, none of you knew who I was. Most of you probably didn't subscribe to me because of my subscriber count, but because of the content. So I would argue there's a lot of you that don't watch some of my content that I do because it's not YouTube specific if you're watching this live stream. Although it would work for YouTube stuff, to be honest with you. But, like, you know, if I'm doing a camera review, if you're a YouTuber, you should probably watch that because you use cameras to make videos. But my point being that not every subscriber watches every video. They're not going to, unless you're a Jake Pauler, I guess. And not everybody who watches a video subscribes either. So if all of you subscribe to channels because of their subscriber count, everyone should just quit YouTube if they don't have 1 million subscribers then, right? Everyone who doesn't have 100,000 subscribers should just quit YouTube if all any of you care about is watching people who have big subscriber counts, because then there's no point, right? But that's not true, is it? You watch people because of the content they make. There's probably somebody you watch that has less than 10,000 subscribers. There's probably someone you watch that has less than 100,000 subscribers. So why do you watch them? If subscriber count is all that matters, and if small channels can't compete with big channels, why are you watching everyone who doesn't have 1 million subscribers? That's a fair question to ask, and I think that that's a self-awareness question, because then if you think about why you watch a YouTube channel, you'll understand why people watch you. So it's just reverse engineering that. Longwell Art asks, Roberto, do you think it's possible for one video or live to be more than one category, help, hub, or hero? Absolutely. I believe that a video can be help and also be hub. I also think a help video could become a hero video, and I think that a hero video could be a hub video as well. I think that there's a lot of cross intersection there. I would say that most of your content strategy should be focused on prioritizing one over the other for a specific video. I also think that content strategy wise, every video should have a goal attached to it. Is this video more focused on getting views? Is this video more focused on the watch time that it's going to get? Is this video more focused on driving subscribers? Ideally, it would do all of those things, but it can't do all of them well. Not in all likelihood. So what do? You prioritize. So something could do all three or accomplish your main goals, but it should have one key focus in mind, because if everything is important, then nothing is. So you have to prioritize each and every individual video. It's why also in a content strategy, a lot of us YouTube instructors are recommending doing 3 to 5 videos a week. And I know it's harder for some channels versus others, but here's how to make that process easier. To make that process easier, what you would have to do is you'd have to come up with multiple types of content that you can do, and you'd have to change the format. Meaning that if you're going to do a DIY video that's very produced with a lot of time lapses and editing, and it takes days to assemble the project, then you should also be doing some other DIY videos that are simpler to make, that are about things like the best crafting tools, or 5 or 10 tools you need, or 5 or 10 tips for doing better DIY projects, or 10 things you need to shop for, or a haul video, because that would be an easier piece of content to make that's still relevant to the audience. You could also do a Q&A video with your audience, and that would be an easier video to make, and you can make a format around that. It's easy to produce, and all of a sudden you have your big DIY project, so maybe you can only do that once a week. But then you have these other types of contents that are still relevant to your audience that you can do more often and easier, and that you can even batch record and edit, making it less pressure for you to always get out good content. So again, it's not a matter of quality over quantity. I'm tired of that phrase in YouTube. It needs to die. It needs to be ushered out to the backyard and put down next to Old Yeller, because it's cheating you out of being able to do things that would actually work for you, because you're prioritizing making one perfect video that is over the top, when your audience will accept from you some more down-to-earth videos that just speak to their specific issue. So I would consider that. So Day in Nature, I think I just answered your question. If your content takes 2 to 4 weeks to produce, find another piece of content that your audience will watch that does work, and then make those, and make the easier type of content, and still make the hard to produce content, but you supplement it in the meantime with engagement with your audience, because at the end of the day, they're watching for you as much as they're watching for the way you do it. So Alan Spicer has a question. What Christmas trends would you suggest for YouTube tips channels? I find my videos are educational but not necessarily topical. I wouldn't necessarily consider doing a YouTube tips trend video for Christmas. I don't think you need to. Doing a trend for the sake of doing a trend is pointless, and it gets off of brand. So I wouldn't do that. You might decide, if you were absolutely going to do it, you could do a critique on Vlogmas, or you could talk about the Vlogmas stuff, or you could talk about content ideas for the holidays for different genres of YouTube and why they do that. But aside from that, I don't know how relevant that would be. I don't know that people would necessarily care, and I think that that could be doing a trend for the sake of doing a trend, and I think that might be a bad idea. But you could always experiment and try it, because you don't know until something lands. A lot of people in YouTube are afraid to experiment with their content. I understand why, but nothing ventured, nothing gained. The best channels became the best channels by figuring stuff out, and they did it by experimenting. Orco TV says, one thing I see small channels fail is they don't really want to help each other. They want to be the next big channel, so instead they end up alone. Example, every Facebook, YouTube group. When you say small channels need to help each other, I don't understand what you're talking about. How are small channels going to quote-unquote help each other? Now, if small channels want to get together in a Facebook group and share information, that's how small channels can help each other. If you're suggesting that small channels should all subscribe to each other and watch each other's videos, I disagree with that 110%, and here's why. And most small YouTubers will say, oh God, why would you say that? And how dare you big YouTubers say that? No, it's crap to do that, because here's the thing. You have a finite amount of time. If you're working a 9-to-5 job and you're doing YouTube on the side, you don't have time to watch other people's videos just because they're small YouTubers to support them. You need to be spending that time growing your channel, engaging with your audience, and giving time to your community. You don't need to be watching someone else's channel that they're going to quit 2 months from now. You don't need to subscribe to them for the sake of subscribing to them so that they could just see one more number there so they feel encouraged to make content. If that's what it takes for them to feel encouraged versus just loving what they do, they're not going to make it on YouTube long term. Probably, because you have to like what you're doing to make it long term, because long term, most people who have grown to be bigger YouTubers did not blow up overnight. The far majority of them, Swoozy, nobody knew who he was for 5 years. For like 5 years, nobody knew who Swoozy was, and now he's got millions of subscribers. Like, nobody knew. Like, for years, Lily Singh wasn't a big deal until she was a big deal. So guess what? Like, the idea that small YouTubers need to support each other in any other way than giving each other advice, sharing resources, that they need to do it by watching each other's channels and subscribing to each other, it's not really helpful, and it's not really practical. It's only practical if you're 14 years old and you have nothing else to do. And that's just, again, that's my opinion, though. But again, if you're a stay-at-home parent or you're someone working a 9 to 5, let me ask you, do you have time to watch people's channels that don't help you grow your channel? Do you have time to watch people's channels that don't better your life or that of your family just so you can say you're helping someone out, you're supporting them? Because I would argue that it's a matter of priorities. And I think that they should focus on their own channel. I think if small YouTubers want to help each other, they're collaborating in Facebook groups and saying, well, let's do a collab together because we're doing similar content or topics. Or, hey, let's support each other by tweeting each other's content out if it's relevant to our shared audience. Let's do that. Let's work as a team. That's how small YouTubers can support each other. Subscribing to each other's channels and watching each other's videos isn't that helpful at the end of the day. But if you wanted to build a squad of team people who you know you're doing similar content in similar genres with a shared audience, and if you want to cross-promote each other across social media and you agree to do that, that would be infinitely more helpful to you. And if you wanted to mention each other in each other's videos, or even queue up a sample video that makes sense where you say, hey, so-and-so did a video on this, I think you should check it out, and you do that for each other, that would be helpful. But subscribing to each other's channels does nothing. It does absolutely nothing. And spending time watching videos that you don't actually really want to watch does nothing. But hey, that's my opinion. And backed by empirical data and common sense, but my opinion nonetheless. Lucerian, hi Roberto, do you think that channels from other countries than America and England have a better chance of getting big, or rather, I don't know. I don't know. I can't tell you, aside from the fact that the only empirical thing that I see makes people go big is they understand their audience to a T, and they make more content for that audience usually than anyone else. They usually have better thumbnails or branding, and maybe they go viral, and they also use other social media platforms. Those are the only things I've seen make people go big, and it's never just one thing. It's a lot of things, and it's a lot of hard work behind the scenes. I don't think that anyone except maybe Daryl Eves. Daryl Eves might be the only person I know who might legitimately have a formula for going viral, and other than that, and the thing is, I still know that that would require hard work. I know all the channels he's helped do that. They still had to they still had to outwork everyone else, and they had to be good. They had to be better than the average of their niche, which means the majority of creators. They had to be better than the 85% of people to begin with from a presence and a personality standpoint. So that already disqualifies the far majority of people. I'm sorry if that's discouraging, but I'm going to be honest about that there is a talent threshold of going big. And it wasn't necessarily their production values. There are a lot of big YouTubers with not great production values, and that's fine because they're bringing a personality and enthusiasm, and they know their audience, and then they do whatever it is that got them some attention. They do that 3 to 5 times a week, hardcore, and they promote the heck out of it, and that's what they do. So, to be honest, there are channels all over the world that have gold play buttons. There are channels all over the world that have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. I don't necessarily believe empirically that there's an advantage. There are people who have Portuguese language YouTube channels and Spanish-speaking YouTube channels with millions of subscribers that most people in this audience have never heard of because they don't speak that language. They're a localized celebrity. They are a language-based celebrity. And so I think that if you speak Spanish or Portuguese or Arabic, or German, that for your audience that speaks that there's 1 million people and you might be serving an underserved market since the majority of people on YouTube are speaking English, that's a saturated market, versus you go the other route, it's not as saturated, and you could go big probably more easily, especially if no one's doing the type of content that you're doing. So I think that kind of matters. And I think that means there's not really an advantage in English speaking versus not by itself. I think the context is more important. I think that this is one of those instances where the phrase context matters overwhelmingly is true. So I think that's important. So let's get to a few more questions. What is the defining line between a small YouTuber and a large YouTuber? And this is being asked by Cashflow Diary. Great question. I don't really care what the distinction is. It's an arbitrary one in my mind because a YouTuber is a YouTuber, and there are small YouTubers, quote unquote, that make more money than big YouTubers. So I think that like this idea that once you've become a quote unquote big YouTuber, whatever that means to people, that you've suddenly arrived or whatever, I think it just means that whatever, especially with the youth culture of YouTube, that people admire you for that, and it's whatever. But the distinction that I guess would be made is how close are you to getting a silver play button, because then that's acknowledgement from YouTube of your level of influence. But there are people that are staples in YouTube, that are cornerstones of YouTube, that haven't met that threshold of 100,000 subscribers. I would say that Gunnarolla and Mary Kate Wiles are like YouTube celebrities and superstars, and like neither of them have 100,000 subscribers on their individual channels. There are celebrities that are not big YouTubers. Terry Crews has a YouTube channel, and he has some of the best content on YouTube. And I think he has like 140, 150,000 subscribers. I technically have more subscribers on YouTube than Terry Crews. Terry Crews is an actual celebrity who's been on television shows and won awards and been in movies. You would think he'd have a bigger audience in YouTube than me. That doesn't necessarily carry over or translate for whatever reason, and his content's amazing. I'm subscribed to it. And he was just on Hot Ones recently, another big, channel out there. But like, I don't think that subscribers mean what people think they mean outside the context of marketing yourself or outside the context of the YouTube culture. There are smaller YouTubers than me that have done collaborations with huge YouTubers. There are smaller YouTubers than me that have done collaborations with Casey Neistat. It hasn't necessarily grown their channel. There are people who've done collaborations with Marquez Brownlee or iJustine. It hasn't necessarily grown their channel, but they are known, and they are like getting known in those YouTube circles. So I think that the small YouTuber, large YouTuber thing is just something that's limited to YouTube culture. I don't think it actually matters, but I guess if you wanted to differentiate it, it would be based on how close you are to a silver play button or a gold play button. Some people would argue that you're not a big YouTuber if you don't have a gold play button. So from some people's perspective, I'm a small YouTuber because I don't have a gold play button. I only have a silver. There are some people who would say that a small YouTuber is someone with less than 10,000 subscribers. Outside of the context of trying to talk to people who have not reached their personal goals yet, I hate the term small YouTuber and big YouTuber, but I have to use it. I'm forced to use it because of the culture. So I don't know. I don't know if that's even an answer to the question. Andrew ask, when would you say you are an authority of a subject on YouTube? I would say that it doesn't matter on your subscriber count to be an authority on a subject. I was an authority on graphic design before I was a YouTuber. I was an authority on freelancing before I was a YouTuber. I was probably an authority on creative entrepreneurship before I was a YouTuber because I actually did it. Now, the recognition of that within the platform, I would say that maybe at around 5 to 10,000 subscribers, you can be considered a subject matter expert on your niche if that's the thing you're talking about. So that's the direction I would go with that. I think it's a good question, Andrew. Let's see. Malevolent Elephant brings up something interesting. He says it took him 2 months to get to 100,000 subscribers, and then his channel, to not 100,000, to 100 subscribers, and then his channel started rolling. And I think his channel might be over 10,000 subscribers by now, in under 12 months, which is pretty good. So I think in 4 months it's over 10,000 or 12,000, something like that. So a lot of people ask when will, and the thing is, we've gotten off topic here because now we're talking about how to grow a YouTube channel instead of content ideas and content strategies specifically, but it's because I'm responding to your questions. So is it that nobody cares about their content strategy, and is nobody struggling with coming up with ideas? Is everyone just wanting to grow their subscriber numbers? You know, is that what we're finding out? Is that what I guess the truth is? So let's see. Let's browse through your questions and let's see if we can find something that's not about YouTube subscribers and is about people struggling with their content strategy. So let's find out. Everyone, what are the tricks to grow rapidly? Yep. Here's one that might be interesting. Metal Barbie says, I'm creating videos of Kardashian makeup looks. That's smart. In trending, 2 of the Kardashian and 1 Jenner are pregnant. Making a video of each of them and adding pregnancy glow. Is that a trending topic? It might be. I don't know how well that will land. But in general, I know that doing celebrity looks has worked for hair and makeup, and even for a business that was a beauty salon. I know that they grew their YouTube channel and got more people to come to their actual brick and mortar business by doing celebrity look videos and doing it in the beauty or barber chair. And I think that definitely is something you could do, and you could tap into trending that way. So I would say that probably matters. Masoma asks, how would you build a content strategy around an art and a clothing brand? By not building it around an art and a clothing brand, meaning that I would use, if your business is that you do art and you have a clothing brand, then I would do something else, but feature your merch in the videos all the time, and I would throw in an ad for your clothing brand into every single video. This is brought to you by this, and it's your own. So you'd be the sponsor of all of your own videos, but now you have to tap into something that has mainstream awareness. And I would also send free boxes of merch and clothing to YouTubers with 50 to 500,000 subscribers or better, and I would send that to them if they have a P.O. box and get them to wear your stuff, or reach out to them in Twitter and get them to wear your stuff. So if I were going to grow a clothing brand, and again, I might actually do this because beyond my create awesome t-shirts as merch, I'm also doing a lot of inspirational slogans, and I'm hiring a hand lettering artist to help me with some of that, and some of them I will do quirky things and things like that. So I'm planning to actually do an inspiration-based kind of merchandise clothing line, and my plan is to not necessarily make videos about clothing and that. I think that just wearing a shirt that matches the message in a motivational video will do the trick. I think sending it to influencers, sending it to the type of people who will wear dope stuff in their stuff and they have mainstream awareness, like sending it to a bunch of the skateboarding YouTubers, sending it to a bunch of the motivational speakers, sending it to vloggers. That's how I would grow a clothing brand and use YouTube. And then it wouldn't matter how many views or how many subscribers I get. I could use influencer marketing, and I could use a content strategy that has mainstream awareness, like either something that's help-based or something that has viral potential. I'd probably do something like a lifestyle design and healthy hacks and healthy living, or a motivation or positivity based channel, and then have the t-shirts relate to that. If I was going to go your route, I would do that. Or if your thing was skateboarding, I would just make the merch and then do a bunch of skateboarding videos and then plug the merch in every single video, like hard, but integrate it organically, make it work. And then I'd also probably make ads, and I'd probably buy ads, and I would promote those ads against YouTube channels that have the audience that would buy my stuff. So that's literally not only a content strategy, that's a business model, and that's an influencer marketing campaign for free. You're welcome. So that would be my answer. Andrew Kahn says, Roberto, my films always do better than my vlogs, and my analysis videos do decent, but not as good as my films. What is the better way to increase my other content quality? So do this. Do filmmaking tutorials. Those do well, as you know. Peter McKinnon blew up. D4 Darius is doing tremendous. There are so many people who want to make films independently or be YouTubers. Make filmmaking tutorials, production tutorials, that sort of thing. That will help everything else because it'll increase discoverability, scale, and the relevance of your other content to more people, and that will increase views and watch time. That's my advice, Andrew. It's a great question. Let's find some more with the remaining time. Beanie Draws brings up an excellent point. People seem to think they have no problems coming up with content strategy and ideas, but they struggle with getting views and subscribers, meaning their content strategy actually isn't very good. That's actually a very good point, Beanie Draws, so thank you for bringing that up. So one of the things is I know for a fact that if I want to get a crap ton of views and subscribers, that I should make a video called How to Make Passive Income Online, Real Answers, or How to Make Passive Income Online, Real Advice, or Legit Answers, or something like that. Because one, it'll challenge an assumption that people have that passive income is a scam. I know my best performing video on passive income has 1 million views, and I know that every time I make a video on passive income or making money online, that it gets at least 10 to 20,000 views within the first month. So if I know that, looking at my data, I know what videos will perform well on my channel overall. So if you see something performing well on your channel, if you go into your analytics and it says you got subscribers or you got views from it, making more content that is similar to that or has the similar value proposition to your audience probably will also do well. So that's the answer. Alan Spicer has a question. I recently moved from entertainment, my Harry Brit, into education. I understand it's a slow content niche. From personal experience, what tips would you give to an EDU YouTube for the long haul? Prioritize search. Tap into community things. So, Alan, you should be all over the whole Casey Neistat, Philip DeFranco, AdSense monetization, Jimmy Kimmel thing. You should make a video about that. I don't know that it will go big, but it could, and you'll get some views and some people on your content out of that. So I would say if you want to do a YouTube EDU channel, you were in entertainment. You had strength and you grew an entertainment channel successfully. Don't stop doing entertainment because you have data from that and experience from that, and entertainment beats education in YouTube by far. So look at the gold play button channels. Almost all of it's entertainment. So bring entertainment to your education content because that will differentiate you. You'll be more entertaining than me. I'm not that entertaining. I'm not that funny. You know, I don't know if you'll be more entertaining than Daryl Eves though, because you know that guy is hilarious. Nick Niman's got tremendous energy, but he's not a comedian. The most successful YouTubers, in my experience, usually either did one of a couple of things. They either built a genre pretty much from scratch, or they remixed by combining two genres in an interesting way. PewDiePie combined comedy and gaming. He won. Casey Neistat combined vlogging and filmmaking. He won. Jake Paul combined pranks and vlogging. He won. So, instead of making a vlogging channel and a prank channel, Jake Paul made his content both things. And on his other stuff, he went super niche. What you guys don't know, Jake Paul has a couple of silver play buttons because he has other channels. Jake Paul has a channel that's all about social media and business development and what he did to become an entrepreneur. None of you watched that channel, none of you knew about it, because none of you might care about that. But Jake Paul has more than one play button. Jake Paul has a couple of play buttons. And it's because he understands niching down, he understands content strategy, but he also understands the value of combining two things in an interesting way, because that's what he learned as a Viner. So that's interesting. Some of you would benefit by exploring other things other than YouTube, and it will make you a better YouTuber. Instagram is making me a better YouTuber. Twitter has always made me a better YouTuber. Doing blogs has made me a better YouTuber, and doing YouTube has made me a better podcaster and public speaker. There's always ways to mix content strategy and media platforms, but also genres and niches together to get something interesting out of it. You know, H3H3 is successful because they do comedy and parody in their commentary. Instead of just doing analytical commentary, which is more my speed, then guess what they do? They do intelligent commentary, but mix humor and parody into it, and that is what they do well, and it makes them different than everybody else. Crowder asks, question, A tips to promote content. I hate spamming. Watch my video on how to promote content on YouTube without being spammy. Scalper Hero says, Roberto, I don't think it's the content that people are having problems with. It's the growth that we all suffer from. Like, I've been on YouTube for 5 years, but I'm still under 1K subs. Scalper Hero, I would make the argument that... what do you think grows a YouTube channel? Real talk. Real talk, I want to ask you guys. What do you all actually believe? Drop this in the live stream comments, but if you're watching the replay, please drop this in the comment section below. What do you think grows a YouTube channel? What do you think gets people to hit subscribe? What do you think gets people to click share and to share it in Twitter or in Facebook? What do you think grows a YouTube channel? Honestly. I want honest answers here. I want to know what you guys believe grows a YouTube channel. But also, let me ask you, why did you... If you subscribe to Philip DeFranco, why did you subscribe to Philip DeFranco? If you subscribe to H3H3, why did you subscribe to H3H3? If you subscribe to Superwoman, why did you subscribe to Superwoman? If you subscribe to Damn Drops, why did you subscribe to Damn Drops? If you subscribe to Peter McKinnon, Boogie, Jake Paul, Sarah Dietschy, iJustine, MKBHD, if you subscribe to Andrew Edwards, if you subscribe to any of these people, why did you subscribe to them? Because I would guarantee you that for the far majority of you, your content strategy is why you are not growing your YouTube channel. If you are doing all of the other YouTube best practices, which I'm not covering in this stream because Nick Nimmin has covered it, Owen Hemsath has covered it, Daryl Ease has covered it, I have covered it, Brian G. Johnson has covered it. Countless YouTube instructors have covered the best practices of YouTube. Optimizing your thumbnails and doing good thumbnail strategy. PewDiePie just did a video last month on how to make good YouTube thumbnails, and it's actually a really good Photoshop tutorial that almost anyone can follow. Even if you just get a free trial for 30 days of Photoshop, you can make better YouTube thumbnails watching PewDiePie's tutorial. I've done countless tutorials on that. So, to thumbnails, you can do better thumbnails. Done. How to do tags. I've talked about it. Daryl's talked about it. Tim's talked about it. How to do titles and descriptions. Done. How to use playlists. Done. We've talked about it. What goes into the algorithm. We've talked about it. So if you're doing all the best practices, you say, Roberto, I have great thumbnails. I have really clever titles. My stuff ranks in TubeBuddy for search. The last factor, the last thing that is the problem, if you take every one of those things and you say check in the box, it has to be content. Because it's the only thing that grows a YouTube channel. It's the only thing that matters, is content. It's the only thing we care about. I'm not going to subscribe to anybody who doesn't have good content. I'm not going to subscribe to anyone whose content doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to subscribe to anybody whose content doesn't make me feel good or feel something. I'm not going to subscribe to anyone's content that I think is subpar or isn't relevant to my interest in being inspired or entertained or educated. So, I would argue that if you are struggling to grow your YouTube channel, the problem is probably the content. I would argue that is probably exactly what people are struggling with. If you've been making YouTube videos for 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, and you can't seem to break through, then what it means is that you're not doing something for which there is a demand, or you're not doing something that resonates with enough people for them to share it, or you're not doing something to a quality or standard that fits the niche that you're in that most people want. Because every big YouTuber that you watch had 0 subscribers, and you probably at some point had never heard of them. And even though they have a bunch of subscribers, you probably wouldn't have clicked subscribed if you didn't like their content, no matter how big they are, because I doubt that everyone watching this stream is subscribed to the top 5,000 YouTube channels. I really doubt that the majority of you are subscribed to the top 500 YouTube channels that have diamond play buttons. So, I'm convinced that content strategy, good content ideas, understanding what content your audience will watch is probably, deep down, the thing that most people are struggling with, because how are you going to get me to subscribe if I don't like your content? you ranking in search, you being on the first page, you being on trending, I'm going to be honest with you, none of those things will make me subscribe to you. Make an awesome video about the iPhone 8, make a video explaining why the iPhone 8 Plus is exploding or splitting open, I might watch that. And then if I see that you have 5 other cool videos on tech, I might subscribe to you. Make a video about better live streaming equipment or a tutorial for Wirecast, and I might watch you. And if you have 5 other videos like that, I might subscribe, maybe. Why else would I subscribe to you other than to watch good content that matters to me? Think like a fan. My friend Brian Fanzo says it all the time. Think like a fan. So, let's see what you guys had to say. Whoops, I did not mean to... So, let's see. Content is king. Let's see. Looking at some of you guys' comments, just doing that real quick. Kim here, I've got a content question. I have plenty of ideas, but I feel like I should do keyword research first, then decide what kind of video to make. I'm currently doing it the other way around. Any thoughts? I think that you should do the idea that is the most interesting to you or you think is the most relevant, then prioritize doing your research around that idea and get that right. I think make the thing and then optimize it. I make a video and then I optimize it. I make a video and then I figure out how to make it work. So that's my answer. How many minutes should we be uploading? According to Matt Gillen, anything between 7 and 16 minutes performs usually 50% better than videos of other lengths, according to a study he did on 1,000 plus YouTube channels. I would say that a video should be as long as it needs to be and not a minute longer or a minute shorter. And that's my usual answer. But if you wanted a specific answer, 7 to 16 minutes is the sweet spot. So let's see. Looking through people's comments here. Yabby Addison asks, how do I contact you so you can help me with content strategy? Well, if you want to hire me, Yabby Addison, then you can find details on robertoblake.com. You could also DM me in Twitter. Andrew, Roberto, when are your streams for the Vid Summit? Well, we have to finalize that, but I believe that I'm going to be doing it, and we'll be on West Coast time, so I'm not 100% sure. So if you want to know when I'm going to be streaming at Vid Summit, all of you got to follow me on Twitter, at Roberto Blake, to find out. But we will be doing a TubeBuddy live stream from Vid Summit, and I will be part of that, along with a lot of the other YouTube instructors, so you'll definitely want to check that out. Also, I wanted to bring up the fact that at Vid Summit, TubeBuddy will be sponsoring my speaking engagement, and it will focus on how to do daily content, dailies in quotations, on YouTube without burning out. And the thing is, I don't think everyone has to do daily. I think that just increasing the volume of uploads is the answer overall. Daily is if you're already doing 4 or 5 videos a week, then maybe daily would help you move the needle. But there are pros and cons to it, and I'm going to be talking about that in my speaking session sponsored by TubeBuddy. So you definitely, if you're coming to Vid Summit, you're going to be in the LA area, you'll want to check that out. You know, and some of you are saying that you appreciate the fact that I'm a straight talker and that I put it bluntly. Hey, the market is the market, guys. Like, your audience will tell you whether they like what you're doing. The audience decides. So, I think that is definitely important. One of the most important things I can tell you is that whatever got you 10 subscribers you'd have to understand why you got those 10 to get 100. Whatever got you 100, you have to understand intimately why you got that 100 if you want to get 1,000. And once you've got 1,000, you have to understand why if you want to get to 10,000. What I did was I didn't focus on growing my channel to begin with. Number one, I was just making tutorial content around Photoshop and around video editing in Premiere Pro, and then I started answering questions from my audience and making videos to answer questions from my audience. And I couldn't tell you when I got my first 100 or 1,000 subscribers because I was just focused on making good content. So, but I do know roughly when I got my first 10,000, and there's a video where I think I said thank you for my first 5,000 because I was surprised. So I would say that figuring out what it is that people wanted from you, you have to then assume that there are more people who want that, and that's basically how supply and demand works within YouTube. The content creators who do the best are supplying something that there is a demand for, that they understand, and that they can do. The reason Jake Paul grew so quickly was he understood what his audience would watch and made more of that versus content he liked doing. So I think that if you understand your audience, you have to balance it. What are you doing content because it's the content you want to do? If so, you have to live with however many subscribers that gets you if you're doing best practices. But if your goal is to grow on YouTube, then you have to figure out what is there a demand for, what fits your strengths, what fits your personality, what fits your unique skills, and then meet the demand. Fitting that to the demand is the hardest thing sometimes for most people. And you have to understand if something is saturated, how do you do something different while still meeting that demand? And how do you bring something new to the table? Everyone was bigger than PewDiePie in gaming when he started. Everybody. So what'd he do? He did his thing. He did something different. His audience liked it. He did more of it. That's it. If you're getting good views and are worried about getting the subs, what do? Ask for subscribers earlier in the video, but you have to put it in the context of what they get out of subscribing. Mick Android Player says, what content should I make to reach 100 subscribers? You're asking the wrong question. If you're asking what content should I make to reach 100 subscribers, if you're asking what content should I make to reach 1,000 subscribers, if you're asking what content should I make to reach 10,000 subscribers, you're asking the wrong question. The question should be, what is it that I can make? What is it I'd be excited about making that also will get other people like me excited? And you make that. I don't make content to be popular on YouTube. I don't make content to grow my channel. I know exactly what content will grow my channel, guys. I know what content takes me from 250,000 to 1 million subs. I know exactly what content would do that. I can't do that content every day. I have no interest in doing that content every day, and it's not the thing that's the most exciting to me. So I don't do it. Wait, I have more subs than views. I post things that are sub-worthy. Honestly, I've been at a crossroad with ideas. Please help. If you have more subs than views, that's normal. PewDiePie struggles to hit 5 million views on a video. He has 50 million subscribers. Jake Paul, on the other hand, does not have that struggle. There are plenty of YouTubers that have 1,000 views on a video. It happens. If you want to know what will get views on a video, go into your analytics, look at the content that got the most views on your video, and if you're really concerned about your views instead of making content that's satisfying to you, then just make the content that got you the most views if that's what you're worried about. If you want to be a big YouTuber, if you want to be a good YouTuber, and you have views and you have some subscribers, the simple answer is this. Go into your analytics, find exactly which videos got you subscribers, find exactly which videos got you viewers, and make more of those videos. Make nothing but that if that's the if that's the goal, if that's the end game. If that's the end game, then that's what you got to do. So I would say that that's the answer, to be honest. The honest answer is that if the goal is that you want more views and more subs for whatever reason, is that in your YouTube analytics, find the videos and find the topics that the most people subscribe to your channel for. Find the videos that got the most views, and then for the next 30 days, if your goal is to grow your channel, take the stuff that got you the most views, and for the next 30 days, focus on only making those videos. Don't do anything else. And see if that works for you. And if that's what your goal is and you don't care about doing videos that you want to do or that you're passionate about or you're excited about, if your thing is that you just want to blow up your channel, you just want to grow subscribers, then it's really simple. The simple answer is your analytics will tell you what people subscribed for. They will tell you what videos people watched, and you can make those videos. And you can just do that. It's not that difficult at the end of the day if you want to do that. I can't do that personally, and I don't recommend it, because then that's how I see people burn out on YouTube all the time. I have people who confess to me privately that like their channel is boring them now because they're doing stuff just to get to the number that they want to get to, or because it's the most lucrative videos that bring in the most money or get the best brand deals. So, you know, that's why people sometimes end up leaving YouTube, is because they get a silver play button, they get a gold play button, but they get burnt out on it. So, but the content creators that last, if you want to last, Justine, regardless of how many views she gets, she makes the videos that she wants. Philip DeFranco pivoted to making content the way he wanted to make it. He stopped doing giveaways. He stopped doing Lovely Lady of the Day. Philip DeFranco changed and evolved his YouTube channel. Even in the last 2 to 3 years, his channel has changed to fit who he is now as a human being, and not what he thought would perform the best for the audience. He thought actually that his changes would hurt his channel, and it's only grown his channel. You know? Casey Neistat decided to not do a video every day after a while because he wanted to pivot from that and because it wasn't as exciting anymore. When you make changes, it could go good, it could go bad, but the thing is, what makes a channel sustainable, what makes a channel stick around, is doing it the way that you want to do it, and that's how channels stay around. So, I think that's the answer. Day in Nature says, people subscribe for the videos that take 2 to 4 weeks to produce. If I do anything else, I get more content, but I'm not sure that's the best strategy long term. Again, you could introduce content to your audience to see if it works or performs. A lot of people experimented and found out this never will work, never do it again, or hey, I gave this thing a shot and this actually is starting to get traction, I'll keep going this route. People subscribed initially for me doing software tutorials, but when I started doing answers and Q&A and answering their questions, the channel grew a lot more. So pivoting, I still do tutorials every now and again, pivoting the other way actually performed better for the channel. So you have to be willing to experiment and take risk, or you don't have a chance of growing really if you don't figure out if something's not moving fast enough. If you want something to move faster, then you have to make some change or introduce some change. The same thing won't produce different results, so you have to figure that part out. Or you'd have to figure out how to make the process of making videos that take 2 to 4 weeks to make, to cut that time in half. If you can't do other content and grow, then you have to make the content you produce as efficient and streamlined and fast to make as possible. So that's the answer. Shadface says, one of my friends joined an animation team, and after he did that, he reached 2.4 million views and went from 70 subs to 24K subs in about 3 to 4 weeks. And I wonder if I could do something similar. Try it and see what happens, but just because someone did it doesn't mean you'll produce exactly the same results, but it could, so try it and see what happens. But if it doesn't happen, don't be too disappointed, because that was him. It's not you. So, you know, that would be my advice on this one. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the live stream. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you consider this to be practical advice. I know it's not as raw cheerleading, you can do it, as, you know, some other things, but ultimately, I think that if you use this advice, that you might be better off and that you'll have real perspective. And I'm not telling you anything I hadn't had to tell myself in the past, to be honest. And I'm telling you what I've seen work time and time again. And again, it's not always the most exciting or enthusiastic thing to hear, but I think it's also what's been proven to be true more often than not. So that's what I try to do, is I just try to give you a practical, honest perspective on how this all works. And you can count on me for a reality check. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you have questions, feel free to reach out in Twitter. If you're going to be in LA, check me out at Vid Summit. I'm going to be there. My talk is going to be sponsored by TubeBuddy. It's going to help you figure out how to make more content more often. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And don't forget, go out there and create something awesome today with help from our friends at TubeBuddy. Go check out TubeBuddy. Download it if you haven't already. It is definitely the best tool for growing your YouTube channel. Also, you can find me at youtube.com/Roberto Blake 2, just like the number 2, where I've done about 1,100 videos that can help you with something. So, you might want to check that out. Take care.